Haven't done this in a minute, and so I wanted to check in, wanted to do a quick little live. Of course, it's on Wednesday, which is my favorite day to do a wellness check, to just kind of check in on you, check in on myself, check in on my neighbors, check in on my dog. How are you? If you're watching this on a replay, drop a comment. Just let me know where you are midweek. Where is your mind in this crazy place we call Earth? Right now, if we start real small, I just got done with my Invisalign appointment with Dr. Blair, and she gave me a very good report card on the way my teeth are moving around in my mouth, which is an upgrade for me because initially when I decided I wanted to straighten my teeth, I was probably like 14, and everybody was getting braces, and that was not really an option for my family. So I decided to straighten my own teeth by taking a pen. I don't have a pen nearby, but I would take a pen. I got this microphone here. I would take a pen and I would bite it and try to move the teeth that were crooked into place. I would do that while I was in class my entire childhood. And you know what? I think it kind of worked, but it didn't work all the way. So I'm in the middle of Invisalign, and I got a good report card from Dr. Blair today. So that was good. Because the last time I was in, I knew she was a little disappointed. My teeth hadn't moved as far as she wanted them to move, because she really cares about what she does. I'm also in the middle of reheating soup. I made a homemade soup. I would love to give you that little easy recipe. And why am I starting with just talking about my dentist appointment and with homemade soup? It's because I was really thinking about what I wanted to come on and share with you. And sometimes I don't feel like I have anything to say on a live because there's so much going on and it's so overwhelming at times. It's like, where do you even start? And so I had this awareness when I was driving back from my dentist appointment. It's big world versus small world. And in the big world, you can just take it as one big thing and it is overwhelming. It can be scary. It can be depressing. And I don't want to spend too much time in the big world because that's not healthy, So it's a balance because you want to be informed. You want to check in on what's going on and doing your part in the big world, but you don't want to lose sight of the small world and the connections that you have with people in your everyday life, with your pets, with your things that bring you joy, like cooking a homemade soup. So small world versus big world. And if I'm being honest, most of my life and my job, I am in the small world with you. And that's where I'm supposed to be for now. And maybe at some point I will tackle the big world. But for now, it's all small world all the time, at least on my social media and on my radio shows. And I'm happy to be a part of that because that, I think, is important too. So how are things in your small world with your friends and your family? If you want to check in and let me know, I would love to be wherever you are in your small world this week. In my small world this week, it's been pretty good. I've been having fun on the radio with Megan Lane in West Palm Beach and doing the solo show on Q99 and getting to talk with a lot of folks in Southwest and Central Virginia. So that part is going well in my small world. Yesterday was just the most terrifying day on the roads of South Florida. I mean, a lot of people make observations on the traffic and how things are just wild down here in South Florida. But yesterday was just one of those days. And I bet you've had one where you just, I almost had an out of body experience while I was driving to work. And it was a quick little drive, like not even 10 minutes. And in that time, there were multiple cars trying to kill me, multiple people trying to kill themselves, walking into traffic. And in that short 7 to 9 minute drive, I had an out-of-body experience where I was like, this is crazy. This is scary. And wow, I'm glad that I'm present and I am making defensive driving moves because that is necessary in where this is, because if I wasn't aware, if I wasn't present, then I would have had an accident because there were multiple cars with no turn signals just weaving all over the roads. I had a funny experience with one of those cars, and I told Megan about this on the radio yesterday, where I tend to be really good at being patient when I'm driving. I tend not to have road rage because I know I also need grace extended to me. I am not a good driver. I can sometimes be airheaded while I'm behind the wheel. So I know sometimes I need the grace extended to me. So I'm pretty good at extending it to other people if they do something dopey. And there was one car in particular that it was a 3-strike thing. It was like they turned in front of me, and it was the third time that they tried to murder me with their car that I finally had to have a bit of road rage and just lay on that horn, because it's like, okay, buddy, I gave you 3 strikes. I gave you 2 times where you tried to murder me with your car, and I allowed it and gave you grace, stayed peaceful in my soul. And then that third time, I'm like, I got for the greater good. You need to be schooled. And then I don't think it had any impact because they probably were on drugs or passing out or something. I don't know. It was a wild thing that happened yesterday. So in my small world, going back to what we were talking about, big world versus small world, things are pretty good. I'm starting to be a little more responsible with money. I don't know about you, but COVID, I became like the big world federal government, and I just was going into deficit spending and keeping the same quality of like keeping my small world happy by going into debt. And I'm finally starting to right that ship personally, which feels pretty good, So I'm doing my best at that, but I don't think I'm ever going to be great at money. I just don't think it's in my DNA to be somebody who's really an excellent money person. So if you want to check in, let me know how you're doing. That would great. I can smell that my lunch soup is about ready, so I'm going to go and check in on that, and we'll do this again soon. Have a good day.